Good morning. We've already been up at 6 o'clock and we reseeded some of our squash. It's a really dry year so far, and some of them have come up, but quite a few of them haven't. So we went ahead and soaked the seeds in fertilizer and then planted them, and tonight we'll harvest or water them. So right now what we're doing is we're hoeing around the peppers and the tomatoes. You see Dima there in the background. I'm working on the cucumbers, and Yura is working on the strawberries. Yesterday, Lonya decided to leave. He had a phone call to family on Sunday, and it was just kind of suspicious the way he was kind of trying to hang behind a bush and not let anybody hear. And then we saw on Monday he started exhibiting behavior that he wanted to leave, and so he kind of waited until there was a slight issue. He was helping Mark with the tractor, and they were taking pins out of the backs to remove an attachment. And he took out one pin, and Mark said, okay, stick it in one of the other holes and then come get this other pin. But he went straight to the other pin and pulled it out, and Mark said, stand back. He didn't listen. He said, take a step back, and he didn't listen. And finally he said, get, because the attachment was sitting on the back of the tractor with nothing holding it on, and any minute it was going to come falling down, and he didn't want it to land on Lonya. Well, Lonya used that situation to say, oh, Mark said I have to leave. It's like, Mark didn't tell you to leave the program. He told you to step back from the tractor. But a lot of times with guys like this, we see that they look for a situation so they can say, this is why I left. It's not because I chose to leave. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear in the background, our pigs are kind of screeching. Our girls haven't gone into heat at all, and we've waited a couple months. And so I've been doing some research. And it says that sometimes if you expose them to the boar for 15-20 minutes a day for several days in a row, it'll promote them going into heat. And once one of them goes into heat, all of them will go into heat. So we've got Sharky in with Bashful, and then we've got Porky in with Lulu. And we'll do those two pigs several days in a row now. But of course for Porky and Bashful, it's their first time. And Bashful, she's really quiet until you pet her, and she wants to be petted, but then she kind of screeches. I don't know, that's just her personality, and she wants to be petted. I mean, she's rubbing up against you and the whole bit, but she's screeching. So she's the noisy one that we're hearing because she's probably protesting Sharky. And I'm not sure how successful they're going to be, but at least we're going to hopefully promote them going into heat. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing this morning. Mark's getting ready to go out and cut some grass at one of the other fields. We are going to pull in that it's alfalfa and grass, but one of the other fields that we have, we've kind of put it up for someone else to take because we've almost got a full barn, and the only thing that's eating grass right now is our rabbits. And so that other field, we're going to plow it under. It's one that we rent, and we've got permission to do it. We're going to plow it under in September, and we're going to plant wheat. And every one of the fields where we planted barley, we'll be planting winter wheat. And that'll give us a bigger yield than the barley will. And that'll help us with our grain expenses. And we don't really need a lot of the other stuff in the beets that we've planted in the past. Pastor Sergey's kind of said they're okay. They're more of a filler. And they don't give a lot of vitamins like wheat or barley does. And we're thinking, wow, compared to the work, I mean, barley, you plant it, and then the harvester comes harvest it, and we put it in bags. That's it. Whereas with the beets, we have to spray them, we have to hoe around them, we have to pull each one of them up. And last year it was really wet, so we just popped them out of the ground. But normally you have to put a shovel or a digging fork under every single one. And we had thousands of them last year. And we thought, yeah, no problem. We're going to give that up, and we're going to do the barley and then the wheat. So that's kind of what we're doing this morning. I'll kind of turn around here, and you can kind of see a lot of our onions are growing there. And over there is more onions. Yeah. So, and like I said, behind me here is Dima with the tomatoes, and we had seedlings, and the peppers are on the other side. Okra's coming up, and we did the seeds here for the cucumbers, and they're just starting to come up. And our strawberries are producing beautifully. And Yura is just hoeing in between the rows there. So, and our potatoes are way back there in the background. You can kind of see all the green. And on the other side is the beets. And the beets also are not doing as well because there's not a lot of water. The guys went through there and weeded. And two of the rows are showing pretty good, but some of the others are not. red beets aren't critical for the animals like the squash are. They're mainly for us, and then we like to give them to our pregnant moms, but they're also very cheap to buy. So later on today, we're going to work in the backfield, and we're going to clean and weed around the corn, and then I'm going to take a look at the pumpkins and see how many of them are coming up, because it seems to be the same kind of problem, and we may have to soak some seeds in the fertilizer and then reseed them. But please pray for some rain, because it's been really dry so far. All right, bye guys.